How's your day going? And how are you feeling? Guys, make sure you're on Telegram so if I'm not around like yesterday, I can let you know that, oh, I'm not here, or there won't be an analysis. For example, you can go check out the secondary analysis channel to see if MR is posting anything. Yesterday, I posted an analysis, and for 24 hours, I acted like I was 18 again. I feel like I have to pay for it for a month now, honestly. Time really flies. I slept in the car for 5 hours. I'm exhausted. Seriously, let's get to the charts. Now, as for work, I have plenty of time, so let's talk. Let's get to the Bitcoin chart. We can say that, as we discussed before, we're moving on the 1 hour time frame. Our logical trend, whether for a position or any topic, is on the 1 hour chart. For now, Bitcoin doesn't have a trigger here. Something needs to happen at 9,347. This behavior here, this big candle, its volume is better than the previous ones, but it's not a huge volume. And this is a rejection, and this is a very strong sell-off. This candle here, even though its volume is high, its size is small. I want to talk about that. But this set of candles signals the end of this bullish trend. This bullish trend is over. Now, does that mean we're completely bearish? There's a good chance we'll turn bearish and test the lower levels again, and it's not a small chance. But I want you to remember something. The end of a trend doesn't mean a crash. The end of a trend just means that this trend is over. Now, we might range for a while, then start a new trend somewhere else. We might range, then slowly start another bearish trend, okay? We could even start a new strong bullish trend. So, what does this mean for us? What this does for us is, if this cycle is over, we no longer compare any of the next moves to the previous one. Not the size of the candles, not the volume, not our RSI, not our overbought or oversold levels. None of these should be compared to the previous wave. That was a different season. That was season 2, and it's over. Now, season 3 is starting. We just know it's a continuation of the story, but it's not necessarily directly related. It's a new season, starting fresh, with new actors, a new director, everything is new. I want you to keep that in mind. But based on our higher time frames, we're still watching the same series overall. For example, we're watching the Bitcoin downtrend series until it hits its support level. Now, the previous season was one where the characters kind of came to life, got revived. This season, maybe because of the storyline that's been set up, we're going to see all of them again. Based on this previous chart and our higher time frames, since we're still moving within that same previous cycle on the daily, there's a decent chance it might come down to test around 8 or 200. It's not unlikely, and it's not a bad thing either. There's nothing to be upset about if it comes down to test this area one more time and then bounces back up from here. If that happens, if we test here and then bounce up, we'll open some positions from this wave. Even if, at that time, I was scared myself, or had FOMO, or was just thinking that if this support breaks, we should go for short positions, even if I was in that mindset, it's still worth it to open a long position here and hold on to it if this wave happens. It's worth doing this here. I even write this down in my notebook after my analysis. When we get to that date, grab one of those planners, guys. Remember how we always said, what good are planners? When we were kids, we grew up with the school year planners and realized the most important notebook we could have is one of those planners. Get one for yourself. Write down these dates, like, I don't know, for December 6th or whatever, write it down. Write that if a situation comes up where you can open a long position, you open one and hold on to it. As for what to do it on, write that down there too. The decision is up to the person who sits down at the chart at that time. It's not your job right now. Your job is for the future, to come and check the dominance, see what the situation is. If Bitcoin dominance is bullish and Bitcoin itself is bullish, then you open and hold a position on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dominance is bearish, you need to look at the BTC pairings. For example, you could open and hold on Ethereum, or Solana, or BNB, or whatever else. This is for that time. I'm not talking about right now. I'm just saying keep this in mind for then. As for right now, first of all, we're in that 48-hour window, which isn't great. The first 2 and last 2 days of the month. I only mentioned the first and last day, but it's really the 48 hours. These aren't really the most exciting days, and in fact, it's a bit risky. A lot of people are just waiting for the monthly candle to close to see what the monthly reaction will be. For me, the weekly close is more interesting than just seeing this monthly candle close red and low. The monthly could close, and then at the start of next month, it could come down to test and then make its move. That would be perfect. That would be textbook. You'd get a bullish trend, then a sharp correction, another test, and then a move. That would be a textbook example if it happens. Like this one, though the candles are a bit different, but the point is it tested it one more time, came up, closed green, and then a bullish engulfing candle formed. On the weekly chart, when the candle looks like this, it actually makes sense to talk about 1,000 breaks. Next week, if a red candle, for example, appears here, as long as it doesn't close its body around here, around 8.2, 2.2, if it doesn't close its body there, we can say on the weekly that this downtrend is over. Now, let's see if it breaks the range, if we get a correction, or if we want to start a new wave again, what are we going to do? This will tell us. So, this means this wave is finished, and next week will clarify that for us. Alright, let's move on to the daily chart. We've already talked about the daily before. This candle is a rejection candle from a lower time frame, and it's showing itself to us in this area. So if this is a rejection candle from a lower time frame, and our dear friends here, someone is giving us data, the ADX, which for now isn't really giving us any data. What the ADX gave us, this red line is the ADX. The whole set here is the DMI, guys, okay? The data the ADX gave us here told us that, hey, the downtrend is ending, and for now, it's still in that same space. Basically, the ADX takes time to show itself, which is why here we're using the negative DI and positive DI to get ahead of the ADX delay and not let it affect us. So, can we, for example, get any data out of these? Now, unfortunately, you can't really get much out of it. You might say, for example, that this area is seller support and it could start dropping from here. Or you might say this area is buyer resistance and it wants to go down from here. But honestly, that's not a very cool or useful way to use these DIs. It's really not that great, to be honest. What about the RSI? Well, that's a different story. Why don't we have any momentum data on the daily chart? Because if you look at your chart, right here is exactly the point where the derivative is zero. There's no slope here. This is exactly where the momentum has hit zero, and that's why the momentum oscillator doesn't give us accurate data, because the momentum in the market itself is zero. When we have this data, we need to pay attention to which tools we use. When momentum is zero, what can actually help us? As long as we're still in the same previous season, in that previous structure, the moving averages can help you, but only under that condition. For example, right now, on the 1-hour chart, these moving averages won't help you. And basically, to show you that the season is over, I'll explain it to you in the 7, 25, 9, and 99. And I'm telling you about these 3 moving averages. For the rest of the moving averages, nothing really happens. Basically, they come together to reset, and that's usually what happens. For the situation where our momentum is becoming safe in the middle of a trend, what data is it giving us? The previous 25 candles still have a drop similar to last week. There's a bit of an uptrend here, right? Here, there's a support zone at 8,237, and breaking this level could cause our entire 7th weekly candle tomorrow to be bearish. So, for now, based on what we've seen, the probability of a drop is higher. Now, after saying all this, and also seeing a reaction to the 99 and the 7th is above it, well, we've talked about all of this. What if the market goes long? What's your plan? It's obvious. If the market goes long, what do? Here, I'll put this for you. This isn't for a position. It's not for a position. It's just so you can say, okay, if the market goes long, what is it? 9,843 doesn't break, and then we make a higher weekly candle here. Otherwise, what happens? Right now, today, tomorrow, and the day after, I have to say, just look for a position for now. For now, I have to say, look for a position. Even better, honestly, this should be deleted. You see this leveler here? This one should be deleted too, because these two aren't anything special. And I just want to get to a factual point so we can see the factor. So remember to delete these upper ones. If the price ranges a bit here, then goes up again, but doesn't reach 91 to 282, and then makes a decisive move downward before breaking out, you can open a short position, because only then does this become a level that could actually matter. If it moves downward right now, what happens? There's never a trend at that spot. It's really rare for us to get a sharp, crazy trend like this one here. This is also a trend at the end of a wave, at the end of a trend. Okay? We poke it, then it moves a bit in a range, then it gives another entry. So it might not be that important for it to break through sharply and, for example, for us not to have a position here. If it doesn't react, wait for it to form a box somewhere on the 1 hour chart, make a pullback, do something, and then you can open your position on the next move. Huh? What? Nothing. The market below the half-hour to 1 hour time frame doesn't really make sense, guys. Lately, the market just doesn't make much sense below the half-hour to 1 hour time frame. Is it real? Would RSI have helped us here? Yes, it would have helped. How would it have helped? If you're gonna break this high and push the move higher, your momentum needs to be greater than the previous wave, especially when you're trying to reach a resistance level and break through it. You can't have less momentum than the previous move. This RSI was showing us this here. You could say your RSI had divergence. Please define RSI divergence, but consider it with the momentum of the move. It's easy. RSI doesn't give you divergence 1,750 million times every day. Here, RSI is at a very important level. Yes, here in the extremes, yes. This is the overall level. Yes, 41, for example, is the overall level. That's the same. Let's also look at our indicators. The divergence, Bitcoin is dropping, but the indicator is going up. What does that mean? That means Ethereum could be a good short position compared to that one. Here was the entry trigger. Honestly, I got frustrated. I really wanted to come and say I was frustrated, maybe so others wouldn't get upset with me. But this candle is really big, guys. The fact that it closed here, at this point, I just followed the position with a buy order out of frustration. When we get such a big candle at resistance, right at resistance, if it had broken above resistance, then it would have continued. But since it got rejected, we came back down. I canceled my orders and was not in anymore. Still, breaking this level could be good. Yes, breaking this level could still be good for a short position. What is it? Below 2019. If it breaks 2019, that is a lower high here in this next wave. All of these are good entry triggers. Why is this spot a good entry trigger right now? Because the bid is dropping a little, but the dominance of that one is going up in this drop. So right now, altcoins can give you even better entry triggers for short positions. All of these can really give you better entry triggers, but the thing is, right now this area is ranging, so it's hard to take a position here. It doesn't give you a proper stop loss level, and it doesn't give you a proper breakout entry either. So you have to wait for a sell wave to happen, then follow along with it and track it. When something has volatility, its setup is clearer. If you see a quick 15-minute upward move, if it later drops, I'll open a trend following position. What is total? Does total confirm the scenario we're looking at? Yeah, total isn't bad either. If it comes back to test 2.84 again, and the same goes for total 3, it's really not bad at all if they come back and test this area one more time. If that happens, it'll be much easier for us to talk about it. But what if they make a higher low? Even better. Actually, it's even better if they make a higher low, because that would confirm the trend change sooner, at least in my opinion, time-wise. Or, for example, Sadati is the same way. The pause with this setup here could be really interesting for me. If you look at the 4-hour chart of USDAD, it's not like we can just say, wow, 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 let's just open a short position and that's it. No, because the new trend hasn't been determined yet. We're just observing the structure and waiting for confirmation. If it comes down to 6.260, and I had a short position there, I'd play the new move. Take profit and respect that level. Respect this area, take your profit. If this happens, it's in everyone's best interest. Honestly, there's nothing else we can do about it. We can just watch. And if, along the way, it gives us a trigger, we'll use our trigger. What else is left? There's also our USDAD. Today was one of those days where I talked a lot, gave good data, but it ended up being a bit short. These days, analysis feels strange for us. Allers dot is ranging inside this box, moving from top to bottom. What does that mean? It means whatever Bitcoin does, the altcoins will follow based on their BTC pairs, either more or less. When USD ADI is like this, it means it wants to drop. A dropping dominance means it wants to fall. Since Friday, Bitcoin has been looking to drop, and USDAI is also in a downtrend here. So if a coin is dropping against its BTC pair, a short position on that coin will be more profitable than on Bitcoin. If a coin is bullish against its BTC pair, then a long position on that coin will be more profitable. Right now, you can't really separate altcoins from Bitcoin's behavior. Here, whenever USDAI is bullish, you can separate altcoins from Bitcoin. Whenever it's ranging or bearish, stick the alts to Bitcoin. There are always exceptions in between. Even now, while Bitcoin is dropping, if we take the time to look, we'll find a coin that's bullish and moving upward. So take the time, use Live Coin Watch or wherever you've learned to find them, and we can spot them. For example, based on volume, you have to see if it makes sense to buy or not. If you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to like it. Your likes really give me energy. I read all your comments today too. I saw you left a new batch of comments, so I'll read those and then we'll have a chat together. ETH/BTC right now, what is it telling us? It's saying, first, that DeFi is doing really well. Second, it's saying, whatever Bitcoin does, I'll do too. Ethereum is basically saying, whatever you do Bitcoin, I'll do the same, because its value against Bitcoin is ranging. So it's showing that in the past, all its effort has been to maintain its value relative to Bitcoin, for now. It doesn't matter what happens to its dollar value. That's why, here, the breakout on Bitcoin is also a breakout for Ethereum. There are some cool triggers here that you can use to get into altcoins, draw trend lines, and so on. But honestly, it doesn't have much impact on you or my position. What we want here is a pullback or something for your long position. Like I said, Bitcoin needs to give you confirmation. Thanks a lot for sticking with me up to this point in the video. Don't forget to like and comment. Also, don't forget to use the BitUnix bonus or code. I'll pin it for you in the comments. Go watch the O'Shea support strategy videos too, because there won't be a continuation this week. This week, I'll probably make a video about routines so we can set a new routine for ourselves, and I'll make another one about that. Next week, we'll start the Sharif support trader strategy again. That's it. You saw it yourself.